Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another Ben 10 Ultimate Alien reaction for you guys. This is Season 2, Episode 12. Of course, you will not know the title until I get into the episode. Fair warning, I did a test earlier, so you may not hear it, but if you hear any background noise, I have a tower fan running, because it is hot as hell today. I need it because I don't want to pass out and be sweaty or whatever, and basically lose train of thought because it's so hot in here. So I have the tower fan running. I doubt you'll hear it. I did a test, but in case you hear anything, it's the tower fan. Last week's episode was overall pretty good, and it got dark as well because the idea of Area 51 holding all these aliens and this really just apparently a disaster for a prison that Ben kind of noticed and saw everything and then said everything kind of was going on down there, and this chameleon kind of alien that now Ben can turn into now was getting revenge on that colonel, that kind of army kind of general whatever character we've seen a couple of times, voiced by John DiMaggio, because of course we had Wrath in last week's episode. We had a lot of aliens in last week's episode, which of course brought in Wild Mutt, a nice surprise, a nice return. Teased a couple episodes ago, but we got Wild Mutt full in effect in this episode, and Ultimate Wild Mutt, who actually spoke, which was really cool. And also, too, I thought was interesting as well, they addressed the fact that Ben yells his character names, like he yells the alien names now. And it's because they're making sure kids can remember the names of the aliens or whatever, instead of going, what was that one character with 4 arms? It's 4 arms. What was that one character that can run real fast? Accelerate. But back then in the classic, he didn't yell out the alien names. Like, the names were said, but it wasn't like that. So the Alien Force moving forward, of course, yelling out the names. And he says, I yell them out for fear and all this. And Kevin even addresses that. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good part in the episode overall. And I had a good time with the episode. Dark, like I said, but I had a good time. So let's jump into this episode, guys. Let's check it out and see what they show us, guys. And let's just get through this because I don't want to die. I'm feeling hot, even though the fan's running. So let's just get into it. Let's check this episode out. Hopefully it's good. Let's go.
How did you fit all
The
this
rust
stuff
bucket.
in here? Gradually. Heavy.
Not if you take them one at a time.
What's
I got a better idea.
going on?
Forearm.
I'm glad to be cut away because that long shot was taking a while. Like, what the hell? What's
Look
that?
what I found. Why do you have a woman's bracelet?
It's not exactly jewelry, Gwen. It belonged to your grandmother. A rookie with the Tactical Air Command.
Oh, we're gonna see this?
Do you copy?
Oh my gosh, I love we're seeing the flashback.
I think I see something.
Hmm? Damn. Came through a portal. Interesting title, okay. Okay. Okay.
You think the laws of physics don't apply to you, Tennyson? F-104s are rated for Mach 2. You were pushing Mach 3.
If you'd give me a chance to
No more chances. No more excuses. You are through.
You say there was a UFO, which the other pilots never saw, which didn't show up on radar, which you then chased. Do you know why President Kennedy wants to send us to the moon?
because
Why?
The Russians.
No, because of the kind of thing you saw today. You're maybe the finest young pilot in the Air Force overall.
Awesome.
On the other hand, you've been cited repeatedly for insubordination. You're smart, tough, skilled, and stubborn. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like an astronaut, son.
Sir?
Do you want to go to the moon?
Yes,
Why
sir.
not? It's Moonstruck the title,
Then
so
you are
yeah.
hereby transferred to Langley Field in Virginia.
How's your chili? Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. At least she's on. It's pretty bad.
I'll take a double order.
Why the long face, flyboy?
Pickings are looking pretty slim in here.
I'm gonna try not to take that personally.
I'm Max.
Verdona.
Yep.
I'm gonna take a flyer and guess that you're not from around here.
I'm good at keeping secrets.
I bet you are. No?
Going into space. I'm gonna be the first man on the moon.
Sounds
That would have been
nice.
interesting in this world if he actually
Right
was.
along.
Who's this?
We got ourselves a problem.
Uh-oh.
I said leave her alone.
Dude. Okay. Holy crap. Holy shit.
Whoa there, mister.
Yeah, whoa there, mister. Oh. Figuring out how to drive.
What was that thing?
I'm from another planet, and the man chasing me isn't a man at all.
He's actually from a race of sentient robots called synthroids.
Learn how to drive.
And this is us. Go.
Let's go. Oh wait, Max has a nice car. I like the car. Don't damage the nice car. It's a nice car. Oh shit. Holy crap. I'm still alive. You start running now? Okay.
The synthroid put this on my arm. It locked me in this form and neutralizes most of my powers. But I did read your mind.
That's how she... Well, why are you looking for him specifically?
When you were chasing us in your fighter jet.
You were in the UFO.
Captive. Then you shot it down and I escaped.
Careful. Uh-oh. And that wasn't gonna work. Nope.
Whatever it's made of, it's stronger than these metal shears.
Yep. It's gonna chase you now. Run, run, run. Basically playing cat and mouse. That wasn't smart. Maybe? Oh, maybe. Okay. That had to hurt. I mean, he's pretty damn strong. Like Terminator a little bit. Kind of like Terminator.
Hurt?
It's still not dead. Oh my god. Using its own arm. Jesus. Well, he's pooped. Yeah, take a nap. You'll wake up in a bit. Wait. He can just... Okay.
Hey, Tin Man!
Tin Man. Oh, shit. Ooh. Goddamn. These punches really should be breaking shit, I would think.
The synthroids are going to use me like a battery.
Of course. Okay, I was like...
For years, until they drain me dry.
But
I will have her.
this is Magister Labyrinth of the Plumbers.
Oh!
Release the Anodite and the human. Put your hands where I can see them. As you wish.
I wouldn't think of shooting you, Tin Man.
Oh, shit. Yep. And her true form. Yep.
Does my true form displease you?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
Ooh, that's a good look.
I know you have feelings for me.
I do. But I've got plans.
Why settle for the moon when I can give you the stars?
Exactly.
You can't
But
give me what I want. I always say it's a sin to waste natural talent.
I won't argue, because I know I can't convince you.
The following Monday, I went into the astronaut training program.
Oh.
Magister Labyrinth came back and recruited me to the Plumbers.
I'm surprised it wasn't
Grandma came
then.
back too, right? I mean, you had to meet her again.
Slip me through the story. Come on, man. Come
What I
on.
miss?
What a miss.
Come on, Kevin. We're calling it a night.
Good night, Verdona.
Aww.
Wherever you are.
I had a great time with this episode. I really did. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that right off the bat here. Because there's a couple people who commented on my reaction to last week's episode. And even in my Discord saying, the next episode, you know. I really enjoyed it. And here's why. Because I've been saying for quite some time, I would love a young Max Tennyson show. Where he gets recruited to the Plumbers, and then we see all these adventures, because we've seen bits and pieces, but we got an entire flashback. Now, it's more so tied into Verdona and shooting down the saucer, of course, that she was captured and everything, and there was the synthoids or whatever, like that robotic creature that basically was very, like, reminiscent of a version of a Terminator, basically. But it's his first meeting with Verdona, and then he gets kicked out of the Air Force, he's going to become an astronaut, and I thought, I think there was something about him being an astronaut. I'm like, okay, he's going to be recruited by the Plumbers, and he does later on, but not exactly at this moment in the flashback. But I'm glad we got the entire flashback and got to see a lot of it, like this, pretty much the entire episode, pretty much. The one thing I kind of wish they would have done at the end of the episode, though, is maybe have Verdona show up at the end talking to Max after, you know, the kids leave, you know, and then she shows up and they have like something, you know, like I don't know if that would have worked, but for me, it's like the connection that they have is very interesting, because if it wasn't for this particular thing where he was there when the saucer came through the portal and he shot it down, Verdona seeked out the one who was there to basically help her, in a sense, to help her escape from the saucer, from the synthoid, Ben wouldn't be here, right? It would be some other kid, right? It'd be some other kid down the road. It wouldn't be Ben at all. And Gwen either. So I like the fact that this story connects it to all of it. And the fact is, too, it's connecting to the fact that this is around the same exact time where this all occurred, so that, you know, Max could meet a plumber, and he gets kicked out of the Air Force, going to the astronaut, become an astronaut. Like, it's interesting. I really liked it, too. I liked the kind of persona of Max a little bit, because, like, in terms of, like, his younger self, because I was, like, expecting him to kind of be the same. But I think what's interesting is that he was a very different person when he was younger. Like, he's still Max, kinda, but he's not really Max now that we know. Because I think all the experiences and him really getting, like, diving into, like, the, like, life out there outside of Earth, and his, like, his eating habits and just the way he acts, it all changed him over time. It made him into the lovable character that we fell in love with in the classic Ben 10. All of these adventures. So seeing this flashback of him meeting Verdona and not really being scared at all, like, I'm fighting some sort of, like, robot thing, and here's this creature that's, like, holding up a badge, it's a plumber, and then Verdona's real, like, true form being an Anodite, doesn't bother him at all. So he's still kind of Max, but the adventures and the experiences and everything, and his connections to all these characters, and just beings in general, being a plumber and being out in space, and all this crazy mayhem he went through in life, it changed him. It made him who he is today. It pretty much goes into, like, life experiences and everything. Like, he had a crazy life, and that's why I, once again, would love to see a young Max show. Like, I would, of course, love to see more continuation of this original timeline with Ben 10 and everything, but you get what I'm saying. I would love to see, in this connection of this continuity, a young Max show that kind of sets up a lot of things that maybe we pay off later, and it kind of makes sense leading into the classic Ben 10 show, or later on the stuff that gets brought back up in Ultimate Alien or Alien Force, or even Omniverse down the road when I get to that. It'd be really cool to see, like, what if they were to do that, a young Max show to kind of tie into some stuff. Like, we got to see young Vilgax in a flashback back in Classic. I would love to see more of young Vilgax. Like what was going on back then versus what happened in Classic and onward with Vilgax. And there's other characters they could potentially introduce that we were like, oh my god, like, that character ran into Max, or that character was there, and now we see them later. Like, just a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Be really interesting. Really interesting. But I like the flashback aspect of this episode, because I think it was really cool to see that. I do, even though it would have kind of maybe a little bit jarring, because we had another voice actor I think it was another voice actor do the voice of young Max, but to maybe have older Max at points kind of speaking a little bit as the flashback is going along. But I think since it fully delved right into flashback, and it wasn't cutting back and forth between the flashback and then interrupting the story to see them listening in, because the bit at the end was Kevin was sleeping through all of it. He fell asleep pretty much early on. That's the implication, that he fell asleep early on. But it was cool to see the introduction of aliens essentially to Max, and it didn't really affect him. I think that's what makes him such an interesting character, because more than likely, if it was somebody else in that jet or that plane that saw that UFO and interacted with Verdona, met the synthoid, the plumber, this would completely destroy them. Like, they wouldn't know how to process this. So the fact that it's Max, it's perfect timing. It's perfect for him. It makes sense. So yeah, I had a good time with the episode, and I think to the people that were kind of like, I get your point, because it's not a traditional Ben 10 episode, but it is focusing on a character that we all love. Like, let's be honest here. Max is one of the best characters ever in the Ben 10 franchise. He's one of the best characters ever. Some even say he's the best character, or some may even say Gwen over Ben. But to me, I don't know who is the best. Personally, I think my favorite character is still Ben, even though there's a lot of flaws with him, but that's the point. No one's perfect. But to me, Max is easily in the top three. Like, I think it's Ben, Gwen, and Max. Like, they're, to me, the best characters that ever been introduced in the Ben 10 franchise, in this continuity. So to me, seeing a flashback of this in terms of his character in there's a lot of introductions for him. Like, it's pretty awesome, and it pretty much lines up with what I've been saying. Like, I want to see this kind of stuff in a show. Like, so it worked for me. It definitely worked for me. And it was cool to like have, you know, Gwen, Ben, and Kevin, even though Kevin fell asleep, to listen to a story from Max. Because I'm pretty sure this stuff happens, we just never get to see it. It's kind of like the whole aspect of Gwen kind of like seeing her day to day and kind of going to school and all these other things outside of what we normally see within an episode, like the day in the life of Gwen. Like, I bet this thing happens quite often in terms of stories, or at least like little like nuggets of information that we don't really get to see, because we're not focusing on those kind of small moments, or those kind of, you know, like we do get those kind of moments where there's connection and stories and all that kind of stuff, but normally we don't get a lot of it. So the fact that we got an entire episode was really cool, because sometimes like, oh, Max, like, well, I dealt with this thing, like, because sometimes Max drops information, right, and we're kind of hearing about it. We don't actually see most of it. We just get to hear about it and how it's connecting to what's happening now. He like ties back into the old times when he was a plumber. So the fact that we got an entire episode about this is the connection to this kind of bracelet, this kind of device, pretty cool. Can't complain. To me, I really can't complain. But hope you guys enjoy the reaction. I'm curious to know what you guys thought about this episode. And I mean, I've been saying it that I would love to see a Max show. Like, maybe it wouldn't be kind of formatted like this, where we keep cutting back and forth between, like, you know, older Max. But maybe it'd be cool to, like, you tie it in with older, like with Max present day, and then that kind of introduces the flashback stuff in the episode, like in a show. If they were to do that, I think that could work too, in terms of like him, like maybe like telling stories or whatever, or kind of at points we're like hearing the stories and then we're cutting to them in a show or whatever. Like, that'd be kind of cool. You know, just something like that. Maybe Ben's reminiscing of a story that Max told, and then it would cut to, like, say like Max passed away, and then it's more like Ben, Gwen, and a couple other characters, maybe like they're like telling different stories, like at different points we're opening with like what's happening in current day, and then maybe there's a story or something happens that causes them to remember something for Max, and then it flashes back to the story of the episode in terms of what Max was doing as the plumber or something. Just throwing out ideas. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm curious to know your thoughts for the episode, guys. Let me know, like I said, blah, can't even talk today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction, and I'll see you guys soon. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.